Now, one thing is certain. We have helped hundreds of families move to Fort Collins and northern Colorado. And each situation is unique and different. And there is no one result that fits for everybody. So when I was considering doing a best city in northern Colorado, well, there's really different best of. So that's what today's video is going to talk to you about. There are 7 cities for best of different categories, and we will break them down for you now. My name is Patrick Soukup, and this is the Living in Fort Collins YouTube channel, where you come to learn everything there is to know about Fort Collins in northern Colorado, and specifically today, best of cities in northern Colorado. Now, 45% give or take of our people watch these videos on TV, so we want to make it easier to be able to scan the QR code to set up an appointment if you're considering relocating to northern Colorado. Otherwise, give us a call, text, or email, whatever works best for you. My team and I would love to be an asset on your team with the relocation to northern Colorado. And if you're buying, selling, or investing in northern Colorado, we are licensed real estate agents, so give us a call, text, or email. Without any further delay, let's jump into today's video, best of cities in northern Colorado. Let's go. All right, number 1, the big dog on the street, best for urban living and amenities, Fort Collins, Colorado. This is obviously gonna be the big dog on street, biggest population, largest economy, known in northern Colorado, where there is a big drive for people to live and relocate, and then these surrounding communities, kind of people learn secondary after learning about Fort Collins. So Fort Collins is gonna be number 1 for best amenities and urban living, walkability, bikeability, over 280 plus miles of protected bike lanes. Walkability, there's gonna be definitely some areas, but Fort Collins Focus City Council is a 15-minute commute city, ride, bike, or scooter, anywhere to get your groceries, shop, or work within 15 minutes. Now, our public transportation is not awesome, but it's a very easy commuting town, very low traffic depending on where you're coming from, but a great outdoor scene. We've got just phenomenal trails throughout. The Poudre Canyon's out our back door. Yes, Rocky Mountain National Park is closer to Loveland, but very close to us. And otherwise, we have nearly 1,000 acres of parks. So the drive for lifestyle living here in northern Colorado, Fort Collins kind of tops that list. And not to mention, it is the best school district when looking at the other school districts on this list. Weld County RE4, Thompson Valley, and then Greeley-Evans District 6. So Fort Collins, number 1, best of urban living and amenities. Best of a stable yet growing community, and that's Windsor. We see so many people considering Windsor and really liking Windsor for one reason or another. Whether that be one of the biggest master plan communities in northern Colorado at Rain Dance with Hoedown Hill and Rain Dance International, or Rain Dance National, I believe it is, golf course that is beautiful with some phenomenal views, but yeah, probably way too many blind shots. So if you're gonna go, make sure to go with somebody who knows what they're doing. But other than that, you've got Water Valley, you've got a phenomenal developer in Martin Lind who's considering and doing great things. You're very close to Fort Collins. My sister lives in Windsor, and it's only about 15 or so minutes to get to her house from mine. Now, there are some challenges in Windsor with the growth of downtown, a lot of growth on the east side of Windsor, kind of abutting Severance, Colorado, which we'll talk about here shortly, as well as on the west side, and you really can't do too much about that downtown corridor. So there's gonna be a lot of growth both off of the Harmony corridor and also crossroads that kind of sandwich that Windsor community. On the low side as far as growth goes over the next 15 to 20 years, currently Windsor sits at around 42,000 people. On the low side, they're expecting 60 to 63,000 people. And on the high side, 80 to 84,000 people as far as growth. So it is still an entry-level opportunity, so to speak, to get into Windsor and see a lot of its growth opportunity here in northern Colorado. What about best for commuters and investment? Well, that's gonna be Johnstown, Colorado. I don't have the specific X tweets, I don't know what they call it now, but a buddy of mine sent it to me when Buc-ee's was getting built, and there was an analysis done of towns and median home values of areas where a Buc-ee's relocated to, and it was a parabolic type of growth. And Johnstown just had a Buc-ee's built, and there's a lot of other growth opportunities with Centera South looking to be there. You've already got a phenomenal commercial district in I-25 and US 34 with Shields and all of the other restaurants and opportunities there. Thompson River Ranch is a huge master planned community by Oak Ridge Homes. And then you've got other developers in and around the area right off of I-25 on the east side. So if you have to be commuting down to downtown Denver or DTC on a daily or weekly basis, Johnstown, you can jump right onto I-25, save about 15 to 25 minutes comparatively to Fort Collins. And as far as investment goes, I put that on there because one of our agents, Zach, has actually bought 3 different investment properties in Johnstown over the last year and a half, and he's a true believer and speaks very highly of Johnstown when talking with clients and individuals about where is some growth, investment opportunities, good return on your investment and equity, and Johnstown continues to rise to the top of that conversation. Now, number 4, what about the best city you haven't heard of? And I'm gonna be real with you, I don't know a ton about this area. And that is Meade, Colorado. In fact, one of my basketball buddies that I play basketball with probably for a decade at this point is a chiropractor who has his practice in Meade, Colorado. And he is thrilled about its current and future opportunities. In fact, we just had somebody reach out to us who was relocating back to Fort Collins. They had moved out for their early career and are moving back to Fort Collins, Northern Colorado area. And one of the areas they were specifically exploring was Meade. And we are excited about that now and into the future with Ziggy's headquarters there. There's also other bigger headquarters that are relocating there from Boulder. It's a little bit more affordable. It is on the west side of I-25 and sandwiched between basically Berthoud and Longmont. You've got Meade right there. And it's a great affordable option close to Fort Collins, still a great commute down to Denver on the west side of I-25, close to a lot of outdoor recreation activities with a lot of future growth potential, but maybe you haven't heard of it just yet, and that's Meade, Colorado. Now this one was tough for me. Number 5, best out for outdoor lovers. And we did go with Estes Park, but I had a hard time. I really wanted to put Red Feather on there. I love Red Feather. Now we do have a cabin up there. We've spent a lot of time, so I've got to know the area. Pop Alley Restaurant. You've got a cool little community there. You've got Dowdy Lake and other opportunities, lots of different hiking there, but it is a small and pretty much flat community, a lot of second homeowners. There are a lot of people who live there year round, but it's not really a growing area. And then Estes Park is absolutely the big dog on the street as far as outdoor. Just about 35 minutes from Loveland, 45 minutes from Fort Collins. You are abutting the Rocky Mountain National Park where people come from across the United States, across the world to come visit this amazing park. You've got elk bugling in October and September and walking through the community that they shut down roads, and it is a great opportunity to visit. Now, be very careful. These are wild animals, so there are some stories of kids or people getting trampled because they kind of go out and probably shouldn't be doing some of the things that they're doing. But that being said, I recently was going up the Poudre Canyon, coming back from the Poudre Canyon while we went snowshoeing, and I saw a dog across the road, and I was certain that it was a wolf. And I got out of my car to quickly take a picture, and then quickly another one ran by, and I was like, this is the wild. I was like, maybe there's a third. So I get it. I kind of thought to myself, I was like, that's kind of stupid. Maybe I should look around my surroundings. We are in the wild here. But that being said, Estes Park, there's so many cool things to do. Great golf course, cool little downtown, super close to Rocky Mountain National Park. And then as affordability goes, it is a little bit more expensive, but there's more affordable options in Glen Haven and Drake, just about 10, 15, 20 miles or minutes, from Estes Park. And then if you wanted to, you could live there year round, go stay at the Stanley for a weekend getaway. Lots of different opportunities, but Estes Park is the best for outdoors lovers in Northern Colorado. Just barely beating Red Feather. What about the best value? And I had a few communities that I really wanted to explore on this, But ultimately, I felt now and into the future, Severance, Colorado is that opportunity. I myself bought an investment property there in 2022. That home hasn't really appreciated in value because there was kind of a building moratorium because they were having to deal with some water issues. They have figured that out. It butts Windsor and Timnath and is a growing community, cool new high school, lots of development opportunities there. Only about 15 to 25 minutes from Fort Collins, Colorado. And with the grocery store, King Soopers, that's gonna be going on the east side of Windsor, that's gonna be a really pretty close grocery. Now you're gonna find yourself commuting pretty much for all grocery restaurants into different communities, except if you're gonna go try Bruce's world famous Rocky Mountain oysters, which I have, and just try it for yourself, I guess. And if that's your thing, great. Probably not my thing, but I'm not opposed to it. So best for value in Northern Colorado is Severance, Colorado. Now, what about best places to spread out your arms? I will tell you the reason why I came up with this best of is because somebody was talking to me about, I think it was actually at church. They were talking about Boston having the same square mileage for community as Fort Collins, or very similar, but nearly 3 times the amount of people and quadruple 10 times the amount of universities. It's known for its universities and post-secondary opportunities. And it got me thinking, well, Fort Collins, it's got a little bit of density going on to it, about 50 plus square miles, 180,000 people. So where is the best opportunity if you're looking at not having a lot of people around you? And that is LaPorte, Colorado. I'm shocked that LaPorte hasn't seen this parabolic increase of values with it only being 10 to 15 minutes from downtown Fort Collins. Off of US 287 heading north. Now granted, there could be more stoplights and traffic lights that happen, but you are literally 50 minutes tops, 10 minutes more likely from LaPorte downtown, downtown, I guess you call Verns maybe the downtown, or Mio Mai Pai, or Cash La Poudre, whatever that might be, to downtown Fort Collins. Still in the Poudre School District, but here I want to talk to you guys specifically about hard numbers so that you guys have this, but lowest population density at 395 people per square mile in LaPorte, with the following, the runners up in Meade, Colorado at 509.3. I'm guessing that number is going to increase with how the growth of Meade, as well as Berthoud and Johnstown. But Berthoud at 807 people per square mile, and Johnstown at 1,254 people per square mile. So if you're looking for a place that doesn't have a lot of people, but still, in my opinion, really hasn't scratched the surface as far as opportunity, being so close to Fort Collins and downtown Fort Collins, is LaPorte, Colorado. So there's our list, our 7 best of lists. Now, what about the best of the rest? And this isn't to say that this list could have gone on for everything as far as best of opportunities for laid back lifestyle, yet no college kids. Loveland. Loveland's an amazing community with a great downtown, 70, 80,000 people, very close to Rocky Mountain National Park. Cool growth with East Loveland, and the McQuinney's doing a lot of development there, and Centerra South. And then you also have a redevelopment of downtown. So Loveland absolutely could be a best of list, as well as best of opportunity for a big community yet small town values of homes, And that's Greeley, Colorado. It's a Division I university, over 100,000 people living in Greeley. Only 35 to 45 minutes from Fort Collins, depending on day and traffic, with great economies of JBS. You've got great oil and gas there. The Greeley-Evans District 6, my sister works at Toyton Elementary and absolutely loves it. There is some great growth on the east side of Greeley as well as on the west side. I own a triplex in Greeley, and I look at the development just moving south, and I told my assistant, I said, if I'm ever considering selling this triplex, smack me, because it's just gonna be time before there's a ton of value here. So Greeley could have been on the list. And then again, best small town with parabolic growth and opportunity with cool amenities is Berthoud, Colorado. Berthoud has TPC, Colorado, a lot of growth, very close to Loveland, Colorado, a cool outdoor scene. You could have $2, $3, $4 million plus homes at TPC, Colorado. It is a beautiful place, very close to Fort Collins, abuts, Meade and other areas, and still on that west side of I-25. So the list could have gone on. We didn't talk about Wellington. We really didn't talk about Evans or other places in northern Colorado. But in Timnath, Timnath, talk about growth in Timnath. Seen 1,000% plus of growth. Now that's easy when you were at 500 people and now you're at 10,000, so the numbers make sense. But there are tons of different communities for best of, but we thought this list of 7 really got down to the nuts and bolts of cool different opportunities and reasons why to consider different places. Now, if you're interested in knowing about or finding out more about any of these, feel free to reach out to myself, my team, and especially if you're considering relocating to the area, give us a call, text, or email, or scan that QR code at the beginning, because again, 45% of you are watching this on YouTube TV. One last thing before I let you go. We have been releasing a newsletter since the beginning of the year, once a week on Tuesdays, to talk to you about a rundown of our weekly live, a breakdown of some stats, figures, things to do, market analysis, our podcast, and a little note from me at the end. So if you are interested in getting onto that newsletter, comment below, let me know, or email us and we'll get you a newsletter, and we can provide a link that's in our description for you to sign up. Other than that, I appreciate you watching, and until next time, take care.